The reasonable response to God's actions, promises, plans, and character is praise. Psalms, hymns, spiritual songs, and gospel songs help us to both understand and express praise. More than any other type of song, the meaning of praise songs matters. When you want to comprehend a written passage, whether it's literature, poetry, instructions, directions, or the lyrics to a song, you ask yourself 3 questions. What does it say? What does that mean? What does that mean to me? The question, what does it say, can only be defined if you understand what the words are saying, which is why Songs in the Night takes the time to define the words of the hymn lyrics. When a classic hymn is written in another language besides English, issues with translation will be addressed. There's a current argument that classic hymns should be rewritten so that the language is more understandable to a modern audience. This series will present the options, but I believe that only when a word has evolved to mean something completely different than the author intended should newer words be substituted. Most of the time, I stick with the oldest version of the hymn that I can find and explain any of the unusual words so that you can enjoy the author's original intent. Along with definitions comes the importance of context. What did the words mean at the time the author was writing the hymn? Let's say you're having coffee with friends and they're discussing a movie you have not yet seen.
Didn't you love when they met on the trail?
But then the monster was peeking at them through the bushes?
But then there's the eagle!
I love the eagle! And you feel left out because you don't know the context. So the conversation makes no sense. You understand the words, but you don't understand the emotions or the ideas being expressed. Meaning matters. That's why for Songs in the Night, each verse is explained, the words defined, and the song connected with the poetic imagery of corresponding biblical passages. That way, your knowledge of hymns increases your knowledge of the Bible, and your knowledge of the Bible helps you to learn and remember the hymn. Another trend in modern church services is to use select verses rather than every verse of the hymn. And we all understand why. People have short attention spans, and there's a lot to cover in a church service within a limited amount of time. Praise teams plan the musical worship time around sermons, announcements, communion, and baptisms. If the service goes too long, there's going to be a lot of fussy children waiting to be picked up from the nursery and Sunday school. Songs in the Night may present more hymn verses than you expected the hymn to have. The Holy Spirit inspired the author to write lyrics that would convey a meaningful message. That's why meaning matters. Typically, each stanza of the poem becomes a verse of the hymn. There are 6 verses to the hymn. To only present verses 1, 3, and 5 may drop contextual information or skip doctrinal truths that meant to deepen our understanding of God. Which leads me to that third comprehension question we ask ourselves. What does that mean to me? The meaning of section of Songs in the Night examines what each song teaches about God's character, his attributes, his perspective on humanity, and most importantly, about humanity's relationship with their Creator God. The reason God inspired people to write the Bible, to write books about faith, and to write praise songs is because God truly wants us to know Him and believe in His offer of a personal relationship with Him. God made each of us unique. We have similarities, but there never has been, nor will there ever be another you. And because God knows every element of our story, He speaks to us personally through His Word. God inspired people to write praise songs so that we could remember His Word. Like Bible verses, the same hymn will speak to each of us in different ways based on where we are in life and where we are on our spiritual journey with God. We can all ponder the message of a specific hymn, confident that there is a meaningful application for each of us. Only you can answer what the hymn means to you, but that meaning matters. God knows what you're facing, how you're feeling, what questions you have, and what trials you bear. He's preserved for you truths that you can revisit every time you softly sing a praise song to yourself or you boldly sing it with others in your worship community. We sing as a response to God's song.
I will burst into song before you. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. For as the rain and the snow come down from heaven, and do not return there without watering the earth, making it bear and sprout, and providing seed to the sower and bread to the eater, so will my word be which goes out of my mouth. It will not return to me void, useless, without result, without accomplishing what I desire, and without succeeding in the matter for which I sent it. For you will go out from exile with joy, and be led forth by the Lord himself with peace. The mountain and the hills will break forth into shouts of joy before you, and all the trees of the field will clap their hands.